Who remembers that? Am I right? Oh, man. Oh, spicy week this week, everybody. Clint here with Classic Firearms. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Hope you guys have had most of you have had a decent weekend. I know there's a couple even of our viewers that are actually pretty much in Israel and living through all the bullshit that's taking place over there right now, which we'll talk about. Ultimately wanting to talk about firearm ownership and how they probably wish they had a Second Amendment right now. But anyway, with all of that being said, thank you guys again for tuning in. It is awesome to have all of y'all here. And with that, I just want to let you guys know that I will be getting to as many comments as possible. I can already see quite a few of them racking up. And of course, the super chats that come through, they light up all nice, bright and shiny. And for my ADD brain, I can see them, click on them. So if you want to make sure your comment gets answered or a statement gets seen, whatever it is, make sure you send in those super chats. With that, let's go ahead and kick this off. Yes, as I've already talked about in the pretty much what you've seen as far as the title of this live stream, Israel and the Second Amendment, right? Because that's going to be obviously something to talk about with everything that's taking place right now, with is ultimately probably a new war that America is going to get sucked up into, though we shouldn't. And we'll talk about that also, like I've already mentioned. But here in the United States, a couple of good things have happened, like, for instance, the preliminary injunction that was put into place against the ATF in regards to the forced reset triggers. So Judge Reed O'Connor over here stepping in and doing some pretty awesome stuff. Go check out our friend Guns and Gadgets to see the latest update there. Again, there's also another federal judge striking down the bump stock ban thing. And so much has already happened for Pro 2A stuff here in the United States, which is great because if you're living in some of these larger cities, you'll also see the clashing between the pro-Palestinian and the pro-Israel factions now coming to a head. I've got a couple of friends that live in New York City that are saying things are absolutely wild right now, and they just rather not go outside. So get out of the big cities. Go out there, arm up, and start living on your own and get out of these big cities. That's a really, really solid talking point, I think I can say right now. So anyway, good evening, everybody. Thank you again for all tuning in. And Tanner, I saw your comment. I don't know where it went, but I was scrolling through, reading some of them that's already taken place right now. And I saw your comment that you said, like, where the hell is it? Dang it. I'm scrolling through. I'm trying to find it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you pretty much said that I probably just drink like hot chocolate or something like that. And, well, that is absolutely a lie. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you are sipping with me, comment down below what it is that you're sipping with. I'm going to polish off this bottle of Lafroig 10-year single malt Isla Scotch whiskey because it is absolutely one of my favorites. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a long night. So let's go ahead and hop into it. By the way, something I've been failing at doing, and I've got cork in this one. Oh, let me just get that out of there. It's kind of like that's a little flavorful. Anyway, something I've been failing at doing is hopping on these live streams and then taking a look at previous comments from previous live streams or the comments on previous live streams. So last live stream that I was a part of was actually with Matt and Kaya. And so let's go ahead and let's pull up those comments and let's get to what I think a couple of people have probably asked there. So one of them, as you guys can see right here, I've already liked because, well, it's a good comment. Hey guys, this is coming from Mike Fretz on YouTube. Hey guys, just because you've covered a topic before in a video, don't be afraid to revisit topics again. Technology changes, new models are introduced, your experiences may change, your thoughts, new people are brought into the mix. There are any number of factors that will make each video new and fresh, even when revisiting a topic. Obviously, you want to let some time pass before redoing a topic you've already done, but new topics are not necessary every time. And we agree with that. We've actually done that quite a few times, but we put out so much content, you may or may not have missed it. And I think a lot of you guys out there probably see that every now and then we will actually do like a top 5 AR-15s, right? And then it'll be like, oh, of 2023, or top 5 AR-15s in this category or that category or whatever, you know? So we try to keep it fresh, but also try to hit on similar topics because you're right. Experiences change, technology changes, and the individuals in our videos change as well. You guys will be seeing some new personalities here very, very soon, which is pretty cool. Oh, there's that video or that comment. I'm sure Clint actually just drinks chocolate milk on live stream. Tanner, you're a dick. No, I don't. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Tanner. Always good to see you, bro. Let's see here. By the way, I want to get to the live comments really quick. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me and everything like that. So there we go. Somebody's saying, uh-oh, lost feed. I hope not already. That would not be good. All right. But anyway, I'm seeing you guys come through. I see a couple of comments on Twitch, so it looks like we're doing pretty good over there. Anyway, back to some of the comments from a couple of weeks ago. Truth Hurts. Didn't see the live stream, but great job, guys. Matt, you should start a live stream yourself, Matt. Yeah, Matt, you should. I mean, I've got Mondays. Kaya's got Wednesdays. Maybe Matt does Tuesdays, but he's a busy guy. I think he's got 3 kids at home, so that's a lot, all right? Anyway, let's see here. Awesome live stream. Thanks. Gnarly channel, guys. Appreciate your hard work. Appreciate that. What do you guys do with the guns you guys fire on the episodes? We actually sell them on our website at a discount. You can look for the Gunsmith specials. A lot of the times we keep them in case we need to use them as a prop or whatever else, or if we need to resort to them or refer to them at a later time. So we'll keep a lot of the firearms in the video room. All right. What else here? The Shoddy is my Mosey. Works for me. 7+ rounds. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but that's cool. Another great video. Thank you, guys. Clay shooting instructor, all disciplines, 4 years, 30,000 plus taught. Fly me out. That's actually pretty freaking cool there. Anyway, can I have some merch, guys? Love the content. Clint's the mad. Fed boy Kaya sucks. Oh, man. I think, look, he's just another personality. You guys can't be hating on Kaya. He helps me out a lot, and, he's a good resource to have, all right? And believe me, I think he's definitely seen the light and sees that, well, maybe there's some questionable things that the federal government does, right? Like, starting another proxy war and getting us involved in something that could turn into World War III. Anyway, so that's pretty much that there, all right? Oh, so let's talk about the Second Amendment and how I bet Israel kind of wishes they had one, right? Because a bunch of attendees at a music festival get fired upon by a bunch of dudes flying in with AKs on paragliders. That was not on my bingo card for 2023. I'll be honest with you. I did not expect, armed militants, terrorists, if you will, to fly in and start doing that. Kind of blows my mind, really. So, yeah, Guard Dog Body Armor posted on their Instagram, what are you picking up in a situation like that? Red Dawn, but motorized, you know what I mean? So, what's your go-to? Personally, I think I'd probably go grab my Mark 12. It's pretty accurate and on point, but I think something a little bit heavier duty, like even the Sig Spear chambered in 6.5 or an AR-10 and 7.62 NATO, something like that would probably be pretty good. So let me know what you guys would think about that down in the chat. But here's something to really take into consideration. Prior to this week, right? And yes, questionable things. Guys, don't worry. We're getting there. All right. It's obviously questionable things. Murder, rape, torture, kidnapping, all that type of stuff. Got it? So, but anyway, let's go ahead and talk about how right now the gun laws in Israel are changing. Whether this is a ongoing thing or something that will be temporary, I don't know. But the Minister of the National Security, he tweeted out this right here, and I will share this with you guys and show this to you right now. Where is it? Share. Okay, yeah, you probably can't read that. Thank you. Thankfully, there's a translate feature, all right? From the National Security Minister, today I directed the Firearms Licensing Division to go on an emergency operation in order to allow as many citizens as possible to arm themselves. This plan will take effect within 24 hours. Below are its main points. And those main points summarized still aren't good. So ultimately, they're loosening the already very tight restrictions that they have on citizens of Israel to be able to arm themselves. And keep in mind, Israel already has a mandatory service, military service. So pretty much everybody in the country is a veteran of the Israeli military, and they're ultimately limited to owning a pistol with 50 rounds. And that's pretty much it. So what are the main points? What's the big takeaway here? Any citizen who meets the detailed tests for carrying a private firearm due to self-defense and serving the security forces and is without a criminal or medical record. Interesting, right? Again, I talked a little bit about this on a previous live stream about the medical record. What does that entail, right? Anyway, will be required to undergo a telephone interview instead of a physical interview, be interviewed to carry a firearm, and will be able to receive permission to carry a firearm within a week. Well, the war is already in your front door. Self-defense tests, residents and eligible settlement, rifle veterans 07 and above, officers in the rank of lieutenant and above, and combatants in the rank of major and above, the IDF and the security forces service in the special units, firefighters, policemen, and workers, and volunteer in the rescue forces. Any citizen who received a conditional permit to purchase a firearm and did not purchase a firearm during the year 2023 and the conditional license has expired will be able to purchase a firearm now without the need to submit another application. The exemption will apply to about 4,000 citizens. Okay. Any citizen who deposited his weapon in the last 6 months due to failure to perform refresher training or renewal training. So you need to be able to do, it sounds like an annual training that you have to do to maintain your permission to carry a firearm or just to own. I don't even know about carrying, but just to own, will be able to receive his weapon back. The exemption will apply to about 1,800 citizens. In addition to starting next Tuesday, conditional permits to carry firearms will be issued with a permit allowing the purchase of up to 100 bullets instead of 50. Wow. You get 100 more. You get 100. Actually, you only get 50 more bullets on top of the 50 that you already own. So you're able to purchase one more box of ammunition, and you're able to use that to defend you and your family. All this in addition to the criteria change that should happen soon, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a couple of comments down below here. Again, all this is on Twitter, X, whatever. Absolutely disgusting to place any restrictions on the natural and inalienable individual human right to self-defense and possess the tools necessary. The government in the U.S., various states do this also, and it's equally repugnant. Allow. Absolutely pathetic. They should have been able to own firearms this whole time. 100 bullets, 100, all this, the very definition, too little, too late. How many died because they weren't allowed to own a gun or were only allowed 50 bullets? All Israelis have the God-given right to defend themselves as they see fit. And yeah, you guys can see more and more and more about how ludicrous that really is, right? Woo! Boy, howdy. There's some terrible things taking place over there, and not that my personal opinion really matters, I'll be honest with you guys, but just to give you guys kind of a how I feel about it. My heart goes out to everybody, involved in this situation, because first of all, war is hell. And what we're already seeing, especially all over social media, be careful what you watch because, well, not that I'm saying it's going to be grotesque, gory, or explicit. It is. It's war. But you don't know the information you're being fed. I'm not currently over there. I'm just a guy right now sitting in his bunker talking to a bunch of people on the internet because we all have the same passion about firearms. And what I'm telling you right now is if Israel had a little bit more, had a Second Amendment, I do believe that their citizens would be able to fight off this terrorist invasion that we ultimately saw. All right. Now, so much propaganda is right. DLD After Dark. Thanks for tuning in, man. Good to see you. And I did see that we did have a super chat come through really quick, and I'll get to you here, Scott, in just a moment. But a lot of propaganda, just like what we've seen coming out of Ukraine. And my ultimate belief is we don't need to be getting involved with either Ukraine or Israel. We've already spread ourselves way too thin and have a lot of shit to be worried about here back at home. And not to be getting involved with another, what I probably am going to consider a proxy war, to get us involved into something much larger. And all it would take at this point is for China to invade Taiwan, which we've already said we wouldn't allow to happen. And then we go to Taiwan and come to their aid as well. Now where does that put the United States? We are already spread so thin that the information that I received in the United States Marine Corps is that, hey, we don't have the type of military armament to train with because we keep sending our shit overseas. So how do they expect us to defend our own nation? Oh, that's right. We have a Second Amendment. But it's going to come down to the individual, and that's where we're at. So, here we are. And Carlos, stop with the foreign affairs. We have our own problems here in the U.S. And quite frankly, that's again, my heart goes out to all these people, and it's like, I'm sorry that this is happening. when I see these different posts, we've all seen that German citizen. She's a tattoo artist. She was dancing at this music festival and everything. Then we see her body being paraded around in the back of a pickup truck, stripped. God only knows what happened to her before she got to that point. Arm, leg broken, obviously, this in all sorts of bad stuff, right? And this is taking place not just in this one little Instagram video that I saw, but it's taking place, well, quite frankly, all throughout the world as well. Evil exists, and it will persist as long as good men do nothing. But at the same time, we've got to be paying attention to us here at home, here in the United States. And I'm sorry, that's just the truth of the matter. It is what it is. And it sucks. It really does. Believe me, as much as I wish we had the resources, we had everything we possibly could to get involved and help out every humanitarian crisis there is, that's just not the world we live in. It's not going to happen. That's some sort of... It's just not going to happen. And that's all there is to it. All right. Anyway, my good friend running for Congress, Brendan Herrera, he also has a statement on this. As you guys know, that we are currently, all the Republican candidates, all the GOP candidates are making their statements. Anybody is making their statements about what's currently happening. But let's see what our buddy Brendan Herrera has to say about it. And I'll go ahead and present the screen here. This is, of course, our one and only AK guy. And what he has to say. Brandon Herrera for Congress, District 23 for immediate release. Brandon Herrera condemns Hamas and the Biden administration's reckless foreign policy. San Antonio, Texas. Brandon Herrera made the following statement. Hamas's horrific terrorist attack on Israel are a deadly consequence of the Biden administration's reckless foreign policy. When Biden removed troops from Afghanistan, he left behind billions of dollars in weapons and equipment, which may have fallen into the hands of terrorists. Side note, I think we can just go ahead and X out may have and just said they did. All right. Anyway, instead of securing the border or helping Americans trapped in Afghanistan, Biden has provided Iran with billions of dollars. Despite its open sponsorship of Hezbollah and Hamas, his administration has armed terrorists in Gaza and fueled Iranian aggression in the Middle East. Biden's foreign policy has increased volatility in the region and enabled terrorists and their sponsors to launch attacks against Israel. Tony Gonzalez, this is Brandon Herrera's opponent, has demonstrated he cannot be relied upon to take action. When I am in Congress, I will ban foreign aid to terrorists like Hamas, and I will support legislation to prohibit financial support to Iran. Sounds like a pretty decent statement to me. All right, so there we have that. Brandon Herrera for Congress, District 23, Texas. Hell yeah. Oh, man. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know. And, let's get to it. I've been seeing a lot of this too. Oof, lot there. Israel has been killing Palestinians for over 70 years. I'm not going to claim to be a freaking genius and know everything that's taking place over there in Palestine and Gaza Strip, West Bank, Israel, all of that. But I can tell you what I have been seeing all over social media and everything else are some pretty horrific acts on who I believe to be innocent people, citizens of multiple nations. I think, I don't know what the latest numbers are, but I think 11 citizens of the United States have been either killed or captured. And so at this point, it's kind of like, hey, that's pretty rough shit. And so even though the Palestinians, all of this terrible shit, but what I've been seeing here is pretty fucked up, so what are you going to do? Different subject, something I mentioned a little bit before. One car fast. Clint, you saw the FRT 15 case updates. Yes, preliminary injunction against ATF. Hell yeah, dude. So there you go. And yeah, Keith Decker's absolutely right. Keith, good to see you. Cheers. They've been killing each other for hundreds of years. That's, again, kind of why I'm like, look, dude, let's just stay out of it. Again, we've already given so much, spread ourselves thin so much. The last thing we need to do is get involved with something that Iran has backed, especially because look who backs Iran, look who's their allies. Turkey's already decided that, if this escalates, it looks like they're going to be more pro-Palestine. And it's like, dude, and they're supposed to be a NATO ally. So it's kind of like, oh man. Truth hurts. The United States can't keep its nose out of the other country's business. Eventually it will get cut off. Here we go. So there we are. But Anyway, yeah, I stand with USA. That's how I feel also. So we got our own problems to deal with. Let me get over to the super chats really quick. I saw a couple of them come in from Scott the Prussian Rash. Good to see you, man. Hey, bro, I'm gonna do Finish Brutality with me next year. I need a partner that can run and gun. Cheers, brothers. So, I mean, I'm not against it. I got to do some pretty cool stuff this past week with Surefire out at Ridgeline Defense and the Team O'Neill Rally School. And there's a gentleman there that participated in Finish Brutality, and that's my buddy Luke Quenko, Ballistic Aviation on Instagram. Luke is with the Firearms blog, and he talked about how an awesome time that was. So that sounds like something that maybe I would actually really participate in. So, I'll figure that out. Especially, I want to do that, but I would like to also, do it with my own AK. So flying internationally, that sounds kind of tricky. Anyway, Jared, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Scott, also for the super chat. Jared, not part of NATO, so we better not help them. But our president is a dope, so who knows? Yeah, ugh, who knows, man? It's all kind of exhausting, quite frankly, and that's all we can really say about that. It's pretty damn exhausting, getting involved in all these things that are ultimately going to cost us either here at home economically or even with lives of our service members, perhaps. But what do we do in this situation where there are American citizens now held hostage by ultimately a terrorist organization? We don't know where, as far as I know, right? Again, I don't have, I'm not privy to all sorts of like top secret intelligence and things like that, obviously, but I'm assuming we don't know where. We still need to get our citizens out of there. Obviously we don't do that by going conventional warfare and a massive invasion. How do we combat that, right? So, and DoD After Dark, they already got small units headed out there to grab our people, some high-speed guys, and that's what I figured would happen. You get some real high-speed operators out there doing shit that, a lot of us on Instagram wish we could do, or like to take images and think we could, hashtag Team LARP. But, that's all there is to it. Hook, they're not our people. Well, the ones that have been captured are. The American citizens that have been captured. So I would say that. War generals are salivating at the opportunity. I would say the military industrial complex, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, American Ammo, General Dynamics, Boeing. I think all these guys are probably like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So there we go. Hook, Israeli Americans aren't. Sure, but there are, I'm assuming that there are actual American citizens that are there also, because this was a pretty large music festival, from what I understand, to celebrate or to promote peace in the Middle East. Not going to say it, but yeah. Anyway, and so I think there were citizens of Norway, obviously Germany and the UK, France, a lot of different citizens. So there it is. And dual citizenship is still a thing, absolutely right. So there is that, right? But anyway, and Scott says, Ian from Forgotten Weapons takes his guns to brutality. Doesn't look too complicated. Well, I'm not against it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, all right? But anyway. And yeah, war equals money. Brown Panda 25. You are absolutely right about that. So, that's all there is to it. But anyway, all right, cool. I think that's really all we need to talk about that as far as where this goes. Quite frankly, did you guys start answering my question? What are you picking up? What are you picking up if you start seeing paragliders coming over our border from wherever the hell you're at, right? And would you like something a little bit larger than 5.56 in that case? Let me know. But I can tell you right now, I think something full auto would be really nice in that situation. And again, if the United States is going to get involved, obviously it is. We've already got The 25th Marine Expeditionary Unit, I think, headed that way. The USS Gerald Ford and its entire force headed that way. We're going to get involved. We always do. And, oh well, I guess. Just do what you can. Take care of you and your family. Get out of the big cities and, really start hunkering down. Not in a sense of like, not going out and stuff like that. No. Still go out, go have fun, right? But just be aware, be observant, and carry a gun. If it says, no firearms beyond this point, I'm going to say you are all adults capable of making up your own decisions. For me, my concealed carry stays with me everywhere. So, there you go. But anyway, let's leave it at that. Amen, Clint. Thank you, D, for agreeing. Appreciate it. But there we go. All right. So, war is definitely profitable. You are right about that. So, there you go. Let's see here. I saw another super chat come on in over here from Renee Calusia, I think, maybe. Jersey are known to never paying ransom. That's why they are nonstop bombardment. Fight a monster with God. Good comment. Not sure Jersey are known to never paying ransom. All right. Suppressed 300 blackout all the way, Morgan Bodie. Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about that. So absolutely. Hair of the dog. I'm in the process of moving off grid. So hopefully that works out. Absolutely. Samesies, Geo, good to see you, man. Absolutely. And again, I am thrilled to see as many of you tuning in as well. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Of course, we are streaming to Rumble, Twitch, my Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, and obviously YouTube. And everybody on Rumble, let me go ahead and pull you guys up really quick because I appreciate all of you guys hopping in over there. And of course, I want to see what you guys are saying. Okay, Clint, let me pull you guys up though. Duh. And let's see what kind of comments we got on over here. We've got AK Ted, Alaska Ted in the comments on Rumble. Let me just take that one off there. Still think a crossbow series would be good. That would be pretty cool. We got Cody Blees over here with a super chat. Prayers for all in Israel. Clint, do you think that IWI products will be going up in price or becoming more scarce? That's actually a pretty solid question in this case. So the Zions are made here in the U.S., but if you're talking about like the Tavor, among other IWI products, yeah, they're probably going to be hard to come by. So if you have one, hold on to it, and yeah, that's a solid question, man. Because truth be told, they're kind of in the middle of a war again. So, we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's see here. Dom's bicep got a Blanton's glass. Cheers, bro. Cheers to all of you guys having a sipping with me tonight. Also, it's good to see you guys. And if I sound a little nasally, allergies are coming on. Just took some Flonase, so forgive me. All right. So if you're just listening and not watching, I'm sorry you got to hear my voice again. All right. At least I'm not like trying to imitate Clint Smith again, and my voice did come back. Unlike during the bolt gun series, it was kind of out. But anyway, all right here. In God we trust. If you promote peace in the Middle East, they will destroy your presidency. Oh, yeah. Insert Abraham Accords, right? I see what you're saying. Whew. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, man. Ooh, let's get into this. V-Lead. Weak anti-Americans saying we should not help them. They are our allies, whether they are NATO or not. As a proud patriot, we should be there for our allies and also for our own national interest. So you just want to fall into the trap, huh? Look, man. V-Lead. How are you guys going to respond to that one? Because I got to tell you right now, I disagree. And weak anti-Americans. I am very much so pro-American, which is why I say let's stop killing our guys that are willing to serve this country by sending them to wars that have nothing to do with us, right? I mean, we've just look at the last couple of years alone. And we're doing what to our own economy? We're doing what to our own people? It's getting impossible for anybody that's working, not even minimum wage. Minimum wage, you're pretty much screwed. But anybody that's working a livable wage, which is what now due to inflation? I don't know. But can they actually afford property? I'm telling you people to get out of the cities where already rent is actually outpricing the cost of mortgages, right? But yet we still want to send billions overseas instead of actually taking care of our own here. How is that being anti-American when I say let's help the people here on our own turf before we start sending out help, resources, lives, weapons, anything else to anybody else? I disagree completely with that. So, you know, and how dare you, first of all, to call me a weak anti-American? I have been serving this country, though it be in the reserves, for almost 13 years. I have done everything I possibly can to support this country. I may not appreciate its government at all, in fact, but I can tell you right now, I am truly patriotic. So patriotic, in fact, that I think we should actually abolish a lot of the agencies that are dismantling our rights, including this own government, right? So how dare you call me anti-American when I'm over here trying to say, fight for what's truly American, and that's the people here. Anyway, throwing that over there and just going to go ahead and tune down now and just take a sip after that. Anyway, a couple more super chats coming in. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'm seeing it about, yeah, it's not our problem, things like that. And look, could something like this, just a devil's advocate, right? Could something like this become our problem? Maybe it could become our problem, right? Maybe World War III does start off. Well, would it make sense that we should be better prepared for that instead of just, again, thinning out all of our resources militarily and economically? Again, I'm going to keep bringing that up because that means so much. Would it not make sense to make sure that all of our shit is in line here so that way whenever shit does pop off, we're actually ready? Again, it just doesn't make sense. So continuing on, some of the super chats rolling in. Appreciate you guys. And let's go ahead and take a look. Smart Shooters LLC. I got my Rostic sitting right here, and it has been performing very well for me, by the way. Suppressed, unsuppressed, all that type of fun stuff. It has been running very, very well. Thank you so much. American lives should be to defend America. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl Rostick. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Smart Shooters LLC. Drew McTeague, thank you for the super chat. Thank you all that have donated already to the channel. Appreciate you guys. What's your favorite dinosaur and what gun would you recommend to hunt it? Also, you can help people at home by donating your game to Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry. Thanks for your service. You're a real American. Thank you. I appreciate that, Drew. And also, what an awesome organization. Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry. That's pretty freaking cool. And that's something else we need to pay attention to is there's actually a war that we need to pay attention to much closer to home against farmers in this country, against hunters, right? I mean, we see the propaganda that's already been talked about right now, but what about happening stateside when people are over here saying, I don't agree with hunting because it's so inhumane, but I'll buy the chicken off the shelves. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Are you serious right now? You'll buy the beef in the store knowing that these cows were probably died in the most inhumane way and lived in the most inhumane life. But when you go and start hunting overpopulated deer, with a good 308 rifle, with probably that Savage rifle that, we've currently got at cfcontest.com, that animal at least got to live its life free and then died in a very humane way, as long as you got somebody who's actually taking the right shot, hitting it in the heart and all that type of stuff. Pretty quick death, unlike a lot of the slaughterhouses that are performing grotesque deaths on a lot of the animals that these people claim to defend. Anyway, so I really like that idea, but let's pay attention. Let's support our farmers here in the United States, and let's make sure that our crops stay growing. And oh man, so many people just don't get it. And they're everywhere. The hell are we going to do, guys? I mean, what are we going to do? I don't want to say it's hopeless at this point, but honestly, look at the politics, look at our government, look at everything that's taken place just here in the United States. Again, we've got a war that's taken place involving Israel and a couple of other, offenders, whatever, parties, right? So many thousands of miles away. We've got the Ukraine and all that drama happening. And then right here in our own streets, we've got Israeli flags being waved over here, Palestinian flags being waved over here, and they're chanting and yelling at each other and throwing shit, and violence has already taken off. Where are the American flags? What the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm if you're in this country, at this point, why? If you're so supportive of all these other countries, go be over there. Go support them. But if you're in this country, because what? The way of life is a little bit better. It's a little bit easier. You might experience, I don't know, maybe depending on which city you live in, maybe you don't have to worry about mortars falling under your home and killing your family, or some guy paragliding in with AKs and raping your daughters and everything else. I don't know, But here you are in this country where you can actually own firearms for now to defend yourself, by the way, and you're not limited to just 100 rounds. Certain parts of the country, a majority of the country, unless you live in one of these communist states or cities, wake the hell up. New York City right now is having its own war. Like I said, I've got friends literally in Brooklyn that are like, dude, it is nuts. We can't even go outside right now because we're afraid. And it's like, why? You're here in the United States. Maybe you should worry about America. And this is what I'm talking about as far as, Oh, and then let's talk about the border crisis, right? God knows who all we're letting in. The same terrorists that we saw doing these grotesque things are definitely... Wasn't there 151 individuals that have been identified that have come across through the southern border that have been identified on a terrorist watch list? I'm just going to throw it out there. I think that's not good. You know what I'm saying? So that's fun. Anyway, thank you, Drew, for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Hook, meat comes from the supermarket. Normie. Yeah, you're right, man. Oh, Gerard, the U.S. doesn't even take care of our own people, especially our veterans, so why should we send them to another country to protect their people? We, the U.S., are trillions of dollars in debt already. What's another trillion, At this point, what's another trillion, I'm sure that's the way a lot of them look at it. SNK Nostalgia bought an HK Mark 23. Oh, nice. What is the best suppressor in your opinion? Also 9mm for something like 320 or 320L. Oh man, best pistol suppressor. That's a really good question. Also, my buddy, he just texted me. Apparently, he said you're just gonna ignore the dinosaur question. I forgot that it was there. I'm not gonna lie, man. So, my favorite dinosaur. I don't want to be typical, but as a kid, I always did love the Velociraptor. You know what I mean? It's just small, could take down a bunch and everything, And then I got older and I realized that Velociraptors actually aren't much bigger than, like in real life, aren't actually bigger in previous real life, when they still were on the earth. They weren't much bigger than like large chickens. And that just didn't seem cool to me anymore. And then the T-Rex is really, really cool too, but I like the ability to fly, and pterodactyls seem badass. So I think my favorite dinosaur is a pterodactyl. And what gun would I recommend to hunt it? Probably an anti-aircraft gun, because I think they're pretty badass and nimble. So, I'd never met one. I don't know, but probably a 50 for any dinosaur at this point. I don't care if it is a chicken-sized Velociraptor. If it's coming at me, I want it dead. Anyway, so there you go. Oh, man. Aladdin Moberk. Aladdin Moberk. I'm sorry. American freedom is priceless. Absolutely agree with that. Over here also on Rumble, I did see that I got from Cody again. Thank you so much, Cody. Appreciate you, man. Loved your 5.7 video. Just to let you know, the M&P 5.7 comes with a speed loader that allows you to fully load the magazines the first few times to loosen the spring. Well, that's good because that spring was that was tight, man. That was pretty freaking tight. So there you go. But anyway, let's continue on over here. Thank you, Ariel, for the anyway. I sometimes forget, all right? And I know right now you are in Israel. I hope you're staying safe, brother. I think I saw one of your previous comments, too. You said something along the lines of, send you some Tavors. It'd be kind of funny, like, to send you Tavors when you're in Israel. Like, I feel like you're a little bit closer to where they're manufactured. You know what I mean? But anyway, damn it, there's the anyway again. And Steven, don't at me, dude. Dinosaurs are fairy tales. Look, man, they were real, okay? Don't break my heart over here, all right? But continuing on, I saw somebody too, and I also don't want to just ignore some of the comments also. Like, who remembers this one right here? Corn Pops Wunderwaffe. I think it was 1967, right? USS Liberty, never forget. I think it was recorded, but it's an American ship. Shoot it anyway, something like that. From what I understand, in 1967, during the Six-Day War in Israel, a United States ship crossed into waters that Israel told it not to, and it was a spy ship, and Israel decided to shoot it and sink it. So there's that too. That definitely wasn't good for American-Israeli relations at that point in time. And also, we shouldn't forget it. You're absolutely right. We shouldn't forget when we have loss of life like that. All right. Does anybody have a translate? I don't know what you're saying, and I'm very sorry. But anyway, Corn Pop is my guy. Good to see you. There you go. And yes, Bloodied Berserker. FYI, China has warships of the Taiwan coast. I think they had like 70 some odd ships right at Taiwan, right? I've been trying to keep up with all this, but at this point, it's kind of like, I'm just expecting the worst to happen. So I'm just going to focus on taking care of me and mine here at home. I'm going to buy more guns, and I'm going to get more ammo, and I'm going to, do more stuff like that. At this point, though, it's kind of like something I really took into consideration when I saw some of the videos of all of these enemy forces, terrorists, breaking into homes and looking for people to kill. It really made me want to get my destructive devices license, because at that situation, a grenade would really help, And so I'm over here like, okay, maybe I should just go through with it, and let's just start. I want to get an M203. I think that looked really cool on my M4. I want to get a bunch of 40 mil. I really feel like at this point, I want some grenades. Grenades are cool. They're pretty fun. I've thrown a few, not a lot. Actually, let's be honest. When I say a few, I've thrown more blue body grenades, the training grenades, and I think I've thrown one real grenade, and that was at my combat training. And it was less exciting than I thought it was going to be, because they pushed me up against a wall, because I just lobbed it over the wall because I wanted to feel the concussive force. I wanted to feel America, and it was kind of like a dum. I was like, well, that was boring. They're like, get the hell out of here. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, grenades are a lot less destructive than you think, Continuing on, a few Claymore would be nice to set up along the tree line, things like that, I'm just saying. I don't think I'm crazy. Look at the rest of the world. The rest of the world is crazy. That's why I'm arming up. You know what I mean? So, let me know what you guys think about that, all right? Yes, King MCX, Scar, Hype Beast. China has more than us, manpower. There's a lot of memes. There's a lot of jokes around this, and a lot of them just ain't right, Then again, I never consider myself politically correct whatsoever, and it's like during the Korean War, United States Marine was, just shooting one guy after the next, and he's like, God, I swear I shot that guy. I swear I've killed that guy like 10 times. How does he, And so it just keeps coming. But yeah, our tech is better, as far as we know, and the United States is far from perfect, obviously. And something I can't help but think about is, I love this country. I truly do. And then I look at other people in different parts of the world, and just based off of where they were born, they would be willing to die for that shithole country that they live in. And I think to myself, it's a lot better over here, right? And I think a lot of people recognize that, which is why so many people are waving foreign flags on U.S. soil. But they wouldn't dare enlist or be willing to die for this country. You know what I mean? But if they did that same type of shit in one of these other countries that I'm talking about, the government there, like China, would probably imprison them, if not execute them. But over here, we do have something I absolutely adore, the Bill of Rights. And it's just being taken advantage, and nobody's actually truly appreciating what our forefathers outlined for this country. And it's truly heartbreaking. It really is. What do you guys think about that? I also agree with you, Cookie. China has no interest in our demise. We are their largest market. They love to own us. They absolutely love to own us. But the moment that stops, the moment we actually seek true independence, what do you think China would do? Now, obviously, how do you pay back tens of trillions of dollars? You know what I mean? Well, you do that over a long period of time with the people. There's a price tag on every single person from the moment you are born. What's that Social Security number? Really? It's how much money you're going to be throwing into the system. How much debt are you going to accumulate? Now, all of a sudden, that's what's... The United States isn't going to pay back monetarily what we owe to China. No. It's going to be with you and me and our efforts as a U.S. citizen and what work we do in this country. So, anyway. Oh, yeah. Fun stuff over here. Fun stuff. Got a couple, another super chat over here, and I think I got a couple more chats coming in on Rumble. I see you guys. I will definitely get to y'all here in just a moment. Kyle Solorio 311. Hey, Clint, just got my second Daniel Defense Rifle, M4A1 Riz 2. Nice. I am now in debt, but it's so worth it. I have often said that firearms are worth going into debt over. When are we going to get videos on your new R3 and LMT on the channel? God bless America. They have been featured, right now they're technically being featured because there's the Mark 18, a little bit different configuration than what you guys may have seen recently. And then if I back up so the camera focuses a little bit, here is the LMT Estonia reference rifle, Mark 12, and the M4A1 with... well, an FAL, the right hand of the free world, right arm of the free world. You know what I mean? I mean, it felt like it made sense to have an FAL in today's video. You know what I mean? But it's being featured now. Those guns we just talked about, the LMT and the M4 A1 R3. But as far as when are we going to see them on the channel? I think pretty soon. So just stay tuned. All right, you'll catch a glimpse of them soon. And let me head on over to Rumble really quick here. Let's see here. Dom's bicep again, not for nothing, but food for thought. With the first round of money sent to the UK, we could have cured homelessness. Yeah. I mean, dude, Jesus. Think about all the stuff that, all the resources, again, money-wise, that we have sent all throughout the world. And we still have homeless veterans. We still have a mental health crisis in this country. We still have a prison crisis. I mean, there's a lot of jacked up stuff here in the United States that we need to focus on before sending so much of our stuff overseas. I mean, it's just, or north or south. So here we are. Oh well. Let's see here. I got another one from Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000. Thank you for the super chat over there on Rumble. I just want to say, does the Marine Corps still use the HKM-27? I saw it on 1911 Syndicate. Like that channel. Good video. Also just got an FN-510 Tactical instead of the Sig Spear LT. Nice. The FN-510 Tactical is badass, so kudos there. And if you've already got, a couple of ARs or anything, you're not missing much with the Sig Spear LT. It's a cool gun, but ultimately it's doing the same thing as any other 5.56 AR style rifle. I mean, let's be honest, right? But it's doing it for $3,000. Anyway, excuse me, like $2,500, whatever. Yes, the United States Marine Corps is still using the HK-M27. It's kind of one of the newer adoptions for the United States Marine Corps, and we're using all sorts of different variations of it. There's a DMR model. There's like the M27 IAR, the M27 CQB. There's all sorts of different variations of it that the Marine Corps is using. Sean Sif on Rumble. Army vet and libertarian here. Have a friend whose son was in the IDF and was just killed saving women and children in the settlements outside of Gaza. Only help Israel wants from the U.S. is to step... Lost the rest of your comment, Sean. Is to step. Stop, maybe? Is to stop? Is that what you meant? I don't know. But anyway, very sad to hear, though, about your friend's son who's in the IDF and killed saving women and children. That's what I'm saying when I say evil exists. And oftentimes it prevails. And, I'm sorry to hear about that. So, but thank you, for your service, Sean. And, God bless him. God help him. Vis Virsa. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Clint. I'm looking at getting a Carmel or a Tavor this week. Which would you prefer since they are both around the same price? There's 2 Carmels locally. So, they're different. I think I'd probably go for the Tavor personally. The Carmel is kind of cool, but it's kind of big. It's kind of clunky in my mind. You know what I mean? And I think I really like the operating and the ergonomics of the Tavor. Now, it really comes down, are you more comfortable or do you want to be more comfortable with a bullpup, or do you like more of a traditional style rifle? That might answer your question. If you don't really like bullpups, then you probably don't want the Tavor. But if you want to learn and be better equipped or have better efficiency or learn a bullpup, then the Tavor is a good option for you. So I personally would probably go for the Tavor. Alaska Ted, thank you for the super chat. Got the FN-510. Shoots amazing. That's what I've been saying. It shoots really, really well. Picked up a Diamond D Outdoors ballistic nylon chest holder. I need a good light. Suggestions? A good light? Like for your gun? Okay. If you like high candela, a really focused beam, the new Surefire Turbo series is awesome, and you also can't go wrong with the Surefire X300 Ultra, which has a higher lumen and more of a spread, right? I would prefer that for something a little bit more CQB, close quarters, but that higher candela. In fact, I've got one of the EDC1 DFT Turbo right here. Let's see if that'll focus for you guys. This is one of my preferred, along with the Surefire Stiletto, is one of my preferred everyday carry lights. And if you notice, boop, very high candela, very focused beam, right? Compare that to a, do I have another flashlight? I do, but it is on a Glock at the moment, so I'm not going to show this to the camera. I'm just going to show you when I activate the light. Notice how wide that is. That is the X300 Ultra. And then if you wanted something similar, but you want that turbo, there you go. Notice, come on, Clint, figure it out here. I can't get my arm to bend that way. But notice, again, the high beam that you see right there. X300 Ultra, Surefire Turbo, high candela, high lumen. So there you go. Now let's turn that off and not get YouTube to turn off the live stream. Okay, there you go. There's Clint's, Professor Clint, and his light demonstration for you guys today. But those are my suggestions. You can't go wrong with Surefire. Let's be honest. They just make great products, all right? Now, I can say this, though. They and this is what I have on my SIG 320. That's right here. I might be able to pull this off. Because technically, I'm not taking it out of the holster. I don't know if YouTube would identify this, but what you see right here, this is what's called the DG switch for Surefire products. So if I push on this, that activates the light. That makes it very easy to actuate when aiming. Almost too easy. So be careful about that if you don't want to have a negligent discharge of your white light, all right? Putting that back now, and that's with, of course, my Alpha Mega Kydex holster on my AWS belt, and that's my SIG 320. That's the Marine Raider model. You know, it's just some proceeds go to the Marine Raider Foundation. But anyway, so I really love the DG switch because something I've always said about the Surefire switches are they're smaller, and they're not as easy to actuate like the Streamlight TLR series. That's something I really like about Streamlight. They've got the switches dialed in, but I've had a few TLR ones break on me. Never had a Surefire X300 break on me. So, you know, and if I'm going subcompact, I'm going to go Streamlight. I prefer the light output and the controls on Streamlight outside of like the XC1. The XC1, or even I haven't tried the XC2 yet by Surefire, but if we're talking concealed carry, if we're talking carry lights, those are my options for you. So hopefully I answered your question there. AK Ted, Alaska Ted, thanks again for the super chat. All right. Let's see over here. 2A Salem commented on Rumble. This war has been going on for 75 years. America has its own problems to deal with. Yeah, and I agree. You know, so there you go. Alaska Ted thinks probably the turbo, as it will be more for brown bears. Yeah, it still has a pretty decent throw, as you saw. You know, again, I'll back up. And then as you back up, that throw, that outer ring definitely helps a little bit, but you've got, again, that really focused beam, which is something I like. And this past week, I got to do some pretty cool shooting. We did some nighttime shooting with the Surefire Scout Light Turbo on some 11.5-inch BCM rifles, and we were engaging targets nighttime, complete darkness. Not even the moon was out, and we were shooting targets effectively at 400 yards. Even some of the guys at 500 yards with the Turbo Light. Now that's not the X300 pistol light. It doesn't have that type of power. Still has a really focused beam. I mean, out to a couple hundred yards easy, but the larger light made for that high output, 400 yards easy, lighting up the targets with red dots. We were using aim point. Some of us were using T2s. I was using the RDS Duty. And amazing lights, amazing guns, amazing time that we had there. That video will be coming out. It's a couple of series that you guys will be seeing. Really freaking cool. We partnered up with Surefire to do some cool shooting. We also did some rally racing. I know, classic firearms and driving. What? But it all comes together. Anyway, pretty awesome stuff. Coming back over here to the live chat, we've got Mike Riley here. Excuse me. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Your Mark 18, is it a Daniel Defense Mark 18 or something else? It is through and through a built SBR from Daniel Defense. It is a Mark 18, pretty much a name only, not in selector. But anyway, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. GP, thank you. Did you consider the Ruger Precision for the Bolt series? Would have been interesting as the low buck option. We did, but we really wanted something super budget friendly, and that Savage we had right on the shelf. It just made sense at the moment. But I don't be afraid or concerned or worried. Bolt guns will be more featured for sure because we had a lot of time with a lot of fun and a really good time shooting these. Let's see here, DLD After Dark. Thank you again, man. Appreciate you always. And if you want to have me back on the on the live stream sometime, let me know. I'd be happy to talk some more shit with you. But anyway, are you running your FN 510 on your kit? Been thinking about running mine with my gear, but not sure. Kind of want to keep it to Glock mags for reasons. Fair enough. Yeah, I do, but honestly, I usually just keep my 320 on my kit at all times. But if I'm training and practicing with it, my holster, it has the retention on the light. So as long as I'm running a Surefire X300 light, then I can pretty much throw in, whatever, as long as the bodies fit mostly, but the retention is on the light itself on my Alpha Mega holster. So yeah, I'll run just about anything with it. But I have been running the 510 a little bit because it's a lot of freaking fun. And thank you again, DLD After Dark. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to his channel. He's a fan. He's a viewer, just like a lot of you guys. He's in the chat, and he's also providing some super chats, and I appreciate you guys so much. All of you. Thank you, truly. And Mark Cornell, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Coming back over here to Rumble really quick. Professor, every time I see your name, bro. Professor Blake, Pooh Ass Blaster 3000. Which one would you choose, the FN 545 or the FN X45 Tactical? And I don't support sending money to other countries. America first. Thank you. Oh man, you'd make me choose. I want to say the FNX45 is an awesome pistol. At the end of the day, it's a awesome gun, but with the newer technology implemented into the 545, I probably would go with the 545. Feels really good in the hand. Capacity is obviously amazing, and it's something that they just got right. So that's my answer to that question there. Thank you for the super chat. And also, you're asking about the new Surefire R3 suppressor. I don't know what you're talking about. So, did Surefire say that they're coming out with a new silencer? Was I just hanging out with Surefire all this past week? What are you talking about? Anyway, did I also sign an NDA? Continuing on, Cody, you're asking, hey, Clint, why'd you switch from the Guard Dog Shepherd plate carrier to the Tracker? The Tracker is what I have right here, everybody, and I did it ultimately for comfort. I really liked actually, I did it for two reasons. Comfort and the minimalist design of it. I can remove the placard, and it's pretty freaking slick. So, bam, there you go. But that's where I'm at on that one. Okay, now YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, everybody else, I'm coming back to you guys. Twitter. Let's get back over here to the live stream. I'm going to back up just a little bit because I know I've been getting to a lot of the super chats, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you guys so much. And we're going to start with this one. Corn Pops. Fun. I have a gun in my butt right now. That doesn't sound safe. Anyway, searching 77 grain open tip match is something I definitely like a lot. This IMI Systems Razor Core, this is pretty good stuff. I've had really good luck with it. Hollow Point, Botel. But, I got to train a lot with the Mark 262, the Black Hills open tip match 77 grain this past week. The guys at Ridgeline Defense, train how you fight type of thing. Even though it felt like at some point we were mag dumping into trash with only the best ammo, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, and we had several thousand rounds of it out there, and we went through several thousand rounds of it. And the 77 grain open tip match is just incredible stuff, and it's heavier hitting, more accurate, has a better ballistic coefficient. So in other words, it'll travel through the air better, and it's just an accurate round. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, continuing on over here, Hebrew Hammer Best Pull Pup. There you go. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Yeah, and I do believe that was the response. Most preferred 5.56 round. Yep, Mark 262. Look it up. Let's see over here. High Angled Hell. Am I the only one who thought about re-enlisting or becoming a contractor so I could go and protect the people of Israel? So look, that's on you, man. If that's what you want to do, that is completely up to you. I just don't think it should be mandated for all of us to do it. You know what I mean? So are you the only one that had that thought? No. I mean, hell, even the thought in my mind is kind of like, oh, look at all these evil bastards. Let's go get some. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, it's like, no. I got too many things I want to take care of here at home. You know what I mean? But I'm still in. And I'm not going to deny my orders or anything like that unless, they're really fucked up orders. So, that's all there is to it. But you just gotta let me know, man. Simper. Sup, Clint? I remember you from Fort Lee. And I remember you too, Dustin Shipley. Am I right? Because I was a platoon guide. I had to know my Marines, right? You know what I mean? Anyway, that was, you realize that was almost 13 years ago. Let's see here. Actually, it was, closer to 12, because you and I both would have been getting home, going to our actual units about a month or two ago 12 years ago. We would have graduated Fort Lee, Virginia as the first graduating class of the ammunition school up there, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so good to see you, man. Yeah, correct. Yep, look at that, dude. Every now and then I remember stuff correctly, So good to see you. Simplify, bro. Hope you've been doing well, man. And wow, dude, I haven't, man, how cool is that though, right? Cheers to you, bro. I'm glad to see you, man. That's pretty neat. And when you say you remember me, I hope I wasn't a fucking dick, all right? I know young Marines, fresh boots and stuff like that. We tend to be assholes and, thinking that, oh man, I'm going to roll my dress shirt just like I do my camis, you know what I mean? And, oh man. Oh well, what are you going to do? But good to see you, Shipley. I hope you've been doing well, man. Doing all right. See you are as well. I'm doing okay, dude. Thank you. Hoorah to you guys all tuning in. And yes, I did see Ammo Dogs moved from Huntsville. Yes. My original orders when I graduated boot camp were to actually check in at Huntsville, Alabama at the Redstone I think it was Redstone. Is that right? I can't even remember. But yes, we moved, and my original orders were to check in, but the schoolhouse actually closed in Redstone, I think it is, and then opened up in Fort Lee, Virginia. And me and my buddy Simper here, we were part of the first graduating class we were the first graduating class out of Redstone Arsenal. That's right. And, we were the part of the first graduating class there, which is pretty cool. And, yeah. It's really neat, and you're not the first one, man. I've seen a couple of guys from Fort Lee from boot camp that are like, dude, no way. A couple of my former drill instructors are like, good to see what you're doing, bro. And it's like, what, dude? You treated me like shit, man, and here we are, buds now. It's really funny, and so it's pretty cool stuff. Axel Crispo, should I get a 15-22 for training? I am not against that. The only problem with going with an AR-15 chambered in 22 long rifle is though you're familiarizing yourself probably with tactics, drills, manipulation, familiarization of the controls, things like that. One thing you're not doing is getting used to the actual firepower, I guess for close quarters, it's not too big of a deal, but you're not getting used to how the bullet performs over distances and through different variables, different barriers, things like that. And you're not getting used to that felt recoil and honestly the report of the gun actually going off. It's loud, and something a 22. Personally, you can shoot a 22 long rifle outdoors without ear protection. I wouldn't do it all day. You know what I mean? I do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I've already got tinnitus as it is, so probably not a good one. Wait a minute, hold on, time out. Brendan Huffman, Fort Lee is now Fort Gregg Adams. They renamed it. Let me guess, Fort Lee was a Confederate general, right? Fort Lee, and who it was named after, Lee, was probably a Confederate general, and they wanted to rename it, because, fuck American history. But anyway, oh man. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But yeah, really good. But yeah, dude, good talking with you, man. Thanks for tuning in, dude. And if you're on Instagram, DM me, magdump_Morgan. Come say hey. And I don't know where you're at now. So many of us came from all over the country. It would be cool to see some of you guys. So yeah, DM me if you're close to North Carolina or wherever. Let me know. But anyway. Let's continue on over here. I did see another super chat come on through from Blue Liberty. What's your preferred ammo brand for 5.56 grain weight and 5.56? Have an arrow with 1.7 twist. So I just hit on that with the IMI Razor Core open tip, or this is technically hollow point. But my preferred ammo would be the Black Hills 77 grain open tip match Mark 262. But this stuff's pretty good too. The IMI Systems Razor Core. I don't know if that's going to really, oh, wow, that actually focused pretty good. Oh, good job, Sony. But yeah, you might be able to see a little bit of that open tip. I don't know if that's going to really show up. Probably not. Anyway, but yeah, this stuff's pretty good. And I like the heavier grain weight because it's been actually proven scientifically that even out of a short barrel, this stuff just performs better than something like a 55 grain, which a lot of people would probably think, well, wait a minute, what about the velocity that you get out of a short barrel with a 55 grain projectile over a 77 grain projectile? The thing is, though, the velocity negates itself because it's still too slow out of like a 10.3 inch Mark 18 barrel to do much. You know, if it's coming out of a 20 inch barrel, that's something, right? That'll come vibe check your still plates really quick. But a little bit heavier projectile out of a shorter barrel, it's got a little bit more mass to it, so that terminal effect on target, at least to soft tissue, will be good. Granted, if you're wearing body armor, 5.56 out of a short barrel, aim for the face. Anyway, continuing on. Let's see here. But yeah, Lee was probably a Confederate general. Is it past your bedtime? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Yeah. Yeah, I obviously wasn't. I appreciate that. Thank you, Life and Death, for... I should be drinking coffee, not scotch. Got it. There we go. Wow. I can be a true idiot sometimes, as that is proven on Outside the Warehouse. Okay. Anyway, yeah, probably the Confederate general, right? One would say. Continuing on over here, when are you going to switch to an ADM over a Daniel Defense? Don't get me wrong, I like ADM quite a bit, but it's a materials thing for me, right? So, you know, ADM makes good stuff. All right. So, you know, I will say that. Okay. Ooh, Tanner, good to see you again, man. And thank you so much for the super chat. And why the LMT over LWRC or Knights? When things pop off, I'm camping out with my Bergara competition 6mm Creedmoor and M4A1R3. Nice. Okay, so why the LMT over LWRC or Knights? Well, when you get the opportunity to go ahead and just say, hey, I want a Lewis machine and tool. I put that when I first got into the firearms industry. I knew that that's what I wanted. At some point, I want an LMT. And it became available from LMT. So I'm going to take that, right? And all right, cool. I'm really happy about that. Now, LMT is still on my bucket list for guns because I want one of the Mars H's, one of the 7.62 models or 6.5 Creedmoor models. I really like their battle rifle, which is actually like a 13.9 7.62 NATO, but full-time suppressed. It just seems really cool to me. I want that, okay? Okay. Now, LWRCI, fantastic. Knights, the other issue with that is Knights, a lot of what Knights has to offer to the commercial market is a lot of military rejects, actually. So there's, something to be said about that. Now, how, is that true for every single commercial rifle? I don't know, right? But that's just something to kind of be thoughtful of. But with that, that's not to say that you're going to be getting a bad product whatsoever. No. And I don't know. I just feel like for the price of a Knights Armament DI gun, I got a short stroke piston driven gun with a monolithic upper receiver that I think is really, really cool. And I really like the ambidextrous controls. So that's why I preferred the LMT over Knights, at least. LWRCI, really, it's not fair to even have them in this fight because they are so much more the people's choice, right? Because, well, look at that budget. And you have the ambi controls. You have that mono-forged design. It's honestly the preferred choice out of LMT and Knights because financially it makes more sense. Anyway, I don't know if LMT or Knights would appreciate me saying that, but these other two are several $1,000s over the price of an LWRCI. All right, continuing on. And I am speaking about one of their DI models. But anyway, continuing on. Let's see here. Yeah, that still gets me. I probably, I should have just played into that. Like, yeah, I know what I was saying. Sarcasm. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking. Continuing on now. ADM is the best ambi lower. I will say ADM does make a fantastic ambi lower for sure. I really like kind of that switch that they have instead of a button. It is definitely a lot more ergonomic and intuitive, and I would prefer that. Lead Farmer LMT Quick Swap Barrel is really nice. Let me make sure I'm not leaving you guys over here in Rumble, by the way, which I don't believe I am. So there we go. LMT quick swap barrel is really nice if you want to shoot a lot of 308, no gunsmith needed. Stock up on barrels and bulk carrier groups, and you're good to go. And yeah, I mean, there's a really, really sweet options if you ask me. So there you go. And let's see here. Impalo McFly, LWRC for piston, ADM for direct impingement. There you go. To each their own. Let's see here. Christy. Hi, Christy. Hey, Clint. I was wondering what you think about Diamondback AR-15s. They're a good budget option. They're not anything that I would like, say, oh yeah, it's one of the most, affordable and one of the best rifles you could get. But they're not bad. I purchased a Diamondback AR-15 pistol 5.56 many years ago, swapped out the barrel to make it 300 blackout, and then parted ways with it. But, ultimately, I never had an issue with it. It was a great gun, and Diamondback, and that was old school Diamondback. New Diamondback actually makes some really nice stuff. So, yeah, I think you'd have a really good purchase there. Mason, I got 3 IWI Zion 15s because you said they were great for the price. I love them. Okay, well, thank you. Okay, you know what else I say is maybe don't spend a lot of money on just a rifle, or in this case 3, but look at a good sling, a good optic, ammo, and probably most importantly, good training. So did you decide to skip over that piece of advice, or are they for family members and you guys are all going to go get training outside of what you budgeted for 3 Zion 15s? In that case, kudos to you. If your family is large enough to almost be a fire team and you guys are going to get training together, that's going to be a lethal household and one that I would never break into. Not that I'd break into anybody's house anyway, but just saying. So, that's how I feel about that. But no, I mean, awesome. You're going to love the Zion 15s. They're great guns, and you made a good choice on at least purchasing a Zion 15. RC Delinquents, what's up? Clint, you need your SOT and get yourself a couple transferables with and without law letters. Minigun? Yeah, I really do like all of that. The only issue with getting that, like I've already got NFA items, so I'm kind of like on the map, right? And let's be honest, due to these live streams and what I do and my voice, I'm definitely already on the map as well. But getting your SOT, filing and becoming an FFL, whether you're in 07 or whatever else, and what you fall under, you're opening yourself up to that much more regulation. And it can honestly be very, very scary. I mean, I was the warehouse manager at Classic Firearms when we had an ATF audit, and the pucker factor is high, especially since at one point, and it might even still be happening right now, the ATF has this zero tolerance policy on FFLs. And if that were the case, you mistaken a serial number. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you misread the 3 and you made it 1, 2, 8, 4, 5. Now all of a sudden you get your FFL revoked. Your employees lose their jobs. You lose your business. It's scary. And so to live under that type of regulation is scary. To work under it even is kind of like, at any point in time, literally the ATF can just come knocking on our door and say, hey, we want to review everything you have under your roof and also everything you have in your bound book. Oh, and by the way, if there's one single mistake, when we deal with tens of thousands of serialized items in what seems like sometimes in a matter of days, you have the potential of losing your FFL, losing your business. That shit is scary. And that is currently what me and so many other individuals that are employed by different FFLs live under. Imagine if you're the owner of the FFL. You could even be looking at jail time, imprisonment, right? So just because, I don't know, you or one of your employees may have fudged a number, or how about a number that actually on, let's say you get an entire Word doc or a spreadsheet. all these serial numbers. It wasn't even your fault that somebody else from maybe an importer or a distributor accidentally fat fingered a number, and now the serial number that again is supposed to be 12345 was input as 12845. You take it, okay, cool, that goes into our bound book. Now you come and get audited. Hey, it says you have this serial number in your bound book, but we can't find it. Okay, now all of a sudden you have to do the reconciliation. Oh, you find a serial number 12345. It's not in your bound book. Oh, but 12845 is. Logic would say, okay, well, here they are, right? But again, that is a lot of time, especially if you're an FFL like the size of Classic that does, again, literally, we have hundreds of thousands of serial numbers in our bound book, and we have to keep them, right? And if we don't, we lose our business, lose our jobs, lose our livelihood. That doesn't sound like a good time to me. So there is another way. And I'm not going to say what it is. But anyway. Oh, man. Yeah. Also the NFA. Yeah, we just need to repeal the NFA. You know what I mean? 80% arms for the win. Yeah, dude. Just... I'm not going to say much more about that because anything I say can and will be used against me. But... oh, God. Let's see here. Yeah, Black Aces hit recently. And that's going to happen to every manufacturer, every FFL. They're going to get audited. It's not if, it is a when. They will get audited. And it's usually a routine thing. Like I said, I was the warehouse manager responsible for all the employees in the warehouse whenever we got hit with our audit. And it's just, hey, it's been about 4 or 5 years since your last audit. We're going to come and make sure that, you're following the rules. And they show up. And a few of the ATF agents that were there, actually the main guy that was over it all, I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he was actually super cool. He's actually a gun guy. And I looked at him as kind of a ambassador almost. Granted, yeah, he works for the ATF. Not happy about that. But with the way he handled things, believe me, he could have been a dick, right? He could have been somebody that if he wanted to shut us down, he could, because there was, one too many mistakes or whatever else, but we rectified them all, and that's all good. And that's what ultimately they look for. But this guy, he came in, he wasn't an asshole. He said, look, I know you guys are all just trying to do your jobs, this, that, and the other. He was a younger guy. And well, I still talk to him regularly, and I tell him about how much of an asshole I think his agency is. And it is what it is. And I'm pretty sure he actually watches some of the live streams. So if he is, good to see you there, Fed boy. And, I hope you found a different job. Anyway, let's continue on over here. I don't know how someone the size of Classic does it. Employees. Really good employees. Like Jennifer, if you're watching, you're awesome and we love you. Thank you for keeping Classic afloat. Ben, the general manager, awesome. Thank you for starting the business and thank you for keeping it afloat. The owner of Classic, Rick, amazing guy, and he knows how to run a business and he takes care of his employees. Again, it takes an entire team, and by God, we make it happen somehow. Anyway. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry with all the NOAs, but that's how I just continue on to the next thought, I guess. I'm sorry. If Otter was here in the chat, I haven't seen her. She would definitely be making fun of me for it. All right. So then, continuing on. Let's see here. J954. Hey, what's up, Clint? Glad your voice is back. Thank you. Appreciate that. And let's see here. Eric Nilsson. I own the SIG P365X macro for my concealed firearm. What would be a good optic for that? I was thinking either Vortex or Holosun. What would you suggest? Actually, what I have on mine right now, believe it or not, is a Holosun. It is the 507 CK2 red, K2 red. It's their micro. It allows me to get a co-witness. It's actually a 507K. Thank you from Searchin'. Appreciate it. And it is one that it's a solid little red dot. I like it a lot. Does everything I need it to do. And it's and like I said, I can co-witness with it. So that allows me for, if it fails, to at least see my sights and get rounds down range. And Scott, in Minnesota, we say anywho's. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Ooh, Aussie rum pig. That's a pretty funny little icon. Try living in Australia. Wish we had a Second Amendment. 1995. Australia implements some serious gun control. And I actually found it not too long ago. I did my entire high school senior exit project on the negative effects of gun control and used Australia as an example. And I got a perfect score on it in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school systems in North Carolina, which for those of you that don't know is very left-leaning. And I was amazed that I got a perfect score on that. Maybe I'll publish that paper. For a high school Clint, I did a really good job. I am proud of that. And granted, mostly what I do is reference a lot of other people's work, but they are cited. So, maybe I'll post that up one day and just say, hey, if you guys ever wanted to read something I wrote, again, this was in 2009. And so a lot of those numbers have definitely grown, but it was ultimately different governments implement gun control, and then we see an immediate effect of how that negatively impacts a population. And in Australia in 1995, after gun control was established, a very heavy gun control, we noticed actually a 300% increase on attacks of the elderly, and we saw ultimately crime skyrocket in that country. And this is all federal database, like facts, right? Put it this way. I trust federal facts, or I guess you could say federally researched or federally obtained facts in this regard whenever it's speaking about how bad crime got post-gun control, because that doesn't exactly make the feds look good in that sense. You know what I'm saying? If they kind of sugarcoat it like, oh, crime actually only went up 10%. We didn't see a huge, or better yet, if crime dropped, I'd call bullshit on that and not agree with anything that they're saying. So even still, the numbers are probably still skewed. Actually, we just saw recently the FBI skewed a lot of how many guns are actually being used to save lives. Good, clean shoots, put it that way. So, there you go. Keith, yes, post that essay. And Keith, now you've trained me, man. Every time I see your name, I just take a drink now. So thank you, bro. But yeah, a couple super chats coming through really quick. And, a few of them I missed. Sorry about that, guys. So let's go ahead and start that off really quick here. We got the Tanners last, so I'm going to hop over to Junior Campos. Thank you for tuning in, Junior. Hey, man, what AK-47 do you recommend around 1K? I have more AR-15s I could recommend around 1K than I do AKs. It is funny, coincidentally, how that market has shifted. Several years ago, AKs were the more affordable platform, and now ARs, with how saturated the market is with AR-15s, they're the more affordable platform. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could honestly recommend an AK at 1K. So without doing some a little bit of research and thought into it, you might be able to build one, but even building an AK is a lot more complicated and more difficult than building an AR. So I don't want to say, oh yeah, go out there and buy this, because then you do, and then it blows up on you, or it malfunctions, or it doesn't work right, or it's not smooth, or whatever else, it's not accurate, the sights are canted, whatever else. There's so many things that go into AKs that, quite honestly, if you want a good one, bump your budget up to almost 2K. Because, again, there's so many different things that can go wrong, quality control, manufacturing issues, that it gets difficult, right? And there are a couple of them out there that really stand behind what they do and like them. I saw somebody ask about Riley Defense. Riley Defense is not a bad manufacturer of AKs and other types of platforms. So, that's an option. But at the same time, if you want a really solid AK, you're going to be looking at manufacturers like what I believe are really good, like Meridian Defense, Arsenal, even though I think I've even heard Arsenal having some quality control issues. I don't know at this point. I know what I got, and it runs really, really well. Zastava is one that I would probably recommend the highest, and I think they're fairly competitive around that price point, actually. So if I were to recommend one, it'd be Zastava. All right, and I think a lot of you probably already knew that. But anyway, Junior, I hope that helps. Thanks you, man, for the super chat. Mason, thanks, Clint, for all you guys do. All gun laws are infringement. Preach. Quick question. Can I get one suppressor to cover multiple weapons? 9mm, 5.56, 308. Yes, you can. The Silencer Co. Hybrid. It's a 46 caliber can and will do all of that. Here's why I say don't do that. Because I like dedicated cans. You get better performance, better ballistics, and better suppression, both in flash and sound, out of dedicated cans. That being said, if you were to make that choice, I would go with a 30 cal can to cover your rifles and then a 45 can to cover your pistols. Ultimately, what that's going to allow you to do is to have one silencer pretty much cover all the different types of rifles that are in popular chamberings, and then one pistol can that's going to cover all of your pistols. So I know that's technically two suppressors. That's $400 in tax stamps. Bullshit. That you would ultimately be paying for. But that's what I would recommend. And the reason I don't recommend going, let's say 46 caliber, first of all, they're heavy as hell. You're not going to get the best performance out of every single caliber, and unless maybe a 45, but that as a pistol can is very, very heavy. So that's my recommendation. I would go two suppressors in this case, 130 cal can to cover all your rifles, 145 cal or 46 cal to cover all of your pistols. That's what I did, and I don't regret doing that whatsoever until I ultimately decided to get dedicated cans for my 5.56 guns. And I do have a 9mm suppressor as well, the Huxworks Cash 9, but it's not boosted. It doesn't have a booster in it, so it doesn't function all that well with a lot of your standard pistols. But on direct blowback guns, like your sub guns, like the CZ Scorpion, or your roller delayed guns like the MP5, it's a great option. I have the Gymtech 45 that you see right here, that this has a piston in it. This little guy. There we go. Oh, I forgot that I was soaking this in oil. This is going to be disgusting. I've got a cloth over there because I was cleaning some guns. Oh, this is going to be bad. But anyway, I'm just going to take the piston out here. So this little guy is what ultimately helps makes pistol suppressors run a little bit more reliably. But anyway, yeah. I finally got around to cleaning this. My form of cleaning it was just letting it soak with a bunch of, not Ballistol, what's the one? Cleanse oil. And I'm sorry. I got a bunch of gun butter on this one. Bunch of gun butter. That's what it is. And I'm probably going to let that soak for a while. All right. Remind me not to touch my keyboard with my left hand over here. Anyway, and it threads back together like that. I don't know if YouTube allows me to. I know they get mad about disassembling rifles and pistols, but I don't know about silencers, and I also did it during a live stream, and I think it's still up, so that's good. All right, continuing on. Rumble. Let me just hop over there really really quick. All right. Nick for Trump USA, the banned videos from Israel, hundreds of people dead on the streets. Watch here. Well, I'm not going to be posting that link, but if you want to go to Rumble and see what Nick for Trump posted, you can. Also, I will tell you guys right now, I'm not too keen on clicking links from strangers in the chat. I'm not trying to get any viruses, all right? I've already got the feds looking at my computers. I don't need somebody else looking at my computer. Continuing on over here. Let's see here. We've got Michael Bear. What red dot do you run on your 320? Trying to find a red dot for my M18. On mine, I have the SIG. It is the SIG Romeo 1 Pro, Romeo Pro. I've got the outer cover on it, so I can't see the name, but it's the SIG Romeo Pro. The reason is because on this gun, I lose my rear sight if I take the plate off, which really sucks. And this has like an integrated, very basic notch for a rear sight that you can still align your front sight with. So if your red dot fails, battery dies, breaks, whatever, you can still line up your sights to get off accurate hits. And I've been practicing with the iron sights, and yeah, at close range, I get a hit on target at least. Wouldn't be something I use for precision, but it works. And that's what I use. And that's probably what I think I'd recommend on your M18 as well. So thank you, Michael, for the super chat. Continue on. J954. Clint, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Kaya. If you had $1,000 to burn and you're prepping your shit hits the fan, would you buy a suppressor or a sat phone? That's an interesting question because I've never been asked if I'd buy a sat phone before. It's not something I'd actually really consider. I probably wouldn't buy another suppressor. I've already got several, but I like the idea of the suppressor. The sat phone, who am I going to communicate with? I mean, let's be honest, right? Like, yeah, there's friends, there's family, but that means that whoever I'm talking to would have to have some sort of sat phone or some sort of communication. And if it shit hits the fan, let's say communication is down, comms are down, really the people I want with me, I live with, at the end of the day, and all my, immediate family and everybody else, hey, look, I'm sorry, it is what it is, but you guys know where I live, so, there you go. Rendezvous. Have these plans in place already, like, hey, where to meet if this happens or whatever else. Do that. Get involved with the community. I'd probably go with a suppressor, though. Why? Because at least it doesn't make your gun completely silent, but it will allow you to hunt and hunt at a lower volume that might not give away your position. Another thing that would probably be really, really good is a solid bow or crossbow, because that allows you to hunt in almost complete silence. So there's that. But again, I probably would opt for the suppressor because a sat phone, as cool as it may be, there's no 100% guarantee that who I need to contact will have communication, whether it be their cell phone, another sat phone, or whatever else. I feel like, again, if it's a shit hits the phone scenario, you're pretty much out of luck all the way around. I feel like. I don't know. That's a difficult one because it's kind of like, hey, your loved ones, you want to make sure they're okay, stuff like that. But just go get them, I guess. All right, continuing on. Thank you again, J954, for the question. How did Kaya answer that, by the way? Zach Atkins, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Clint, have you heard of the SWS or of SWS rifles? They make barrels that are suppressors. I wanted to know your thoughts on those kind of suppressors. So that is ultimately like an integrated suppressor, right? Or integrally suppressed. And that is awesome because that is the entire design. A lot of them will actually have ports throughout the barrel, so that way those gases are escaping into the silencer that shrouds around the barrel. And it's really interesting and it's really neat. Sorry. I thought I heard one of the dogs getting into something. Okay, I think we're good. I'll just say if I'm getting no-knocked, well, it's going to be a bad day either way, but all of these are loaded, so... But anyway, yeah, I think it was just my dog getting into something. So hopefully it's not. All right. Continuing on over here, integral suppressors are awesome because of what they do. You're going to have the best performance. You're going to have the best performance because it's going to be ultimately designed to be shot suppressed all the time, which is really, really neat. Now, granted, that means you're shooting suppressed all the time, and that typically means you're going to have a dirtier system that you need to clean, but usually they're tuned for that, so that way you're getting as least amount of gas back into the system. Again, it's all tuned, so you're going to have a very reliable firearm. You're going to have one that's going to be performing the best as far as flash signature, sound signature, and ballistics. So I really like integrated barrels, but it's just the functionality and the ease of use when it comes to traditional silencers, to take on and off, to clean, to service, that just make things a little bit more desirable in my mind. But if you have a dedicated rifle that is integrally suppressed, like maybe a 300 Blackout, that would be really freaking cool. So there you go. But no, I have not heard of SWS rifles, and I will look into them. Mindset Performance, and thank you again, Zach Adkins, for the super chat. Mindset Performance, would you say BCM is as good as Daniel Defense? Absolutely. I think some people might argue the other way around, honestly. But yeah, BCM, fantastic, 100%. As good, just as good as Daniel Defense. Edgardo Mirez. Hey, Clint, I'm traveling to North Carolina by car. I want to take my handguns and Mark 18 with my silencer. What do I need to do to be on the safe side? I have a concealed carry permit for Florida. So your Mark 18, I'm assuming, is a SBR. And your silencer, you can, I think it's the 5320. I just realized I still have the crap on my hands and I just touch my head. I think it's the ATF form 5320 to legally exit the state, go to another state. You just got to make sure that the state you're going to, your point of origin and your destination, both allow what you're carrying. In this case, yes, they do. And I want to say it's the 5320 ATF form for interstate travel 50320. Application to transport, interstate, or temporarily export. That's it. Yep. So, sorry, it's 5320 5320.20. And that's the form that you need. And, but yeah, if you just Google search it, it'll come up atf.gov, application to transport, interstate, or temporarily export certain NFA firearms. When I travel with my Mark 18, they say to do it like 6 months out. I've gotten really good responses, like within the matter of weeks. I would do it about maybe a month out, before your actual date. And thank you, Edgardo, for the super chat. But we can talk about that really quick because I've been pulled over several times with NFA items. And as long as you're not doing anything else like illegal, you don't have drugs in the car, you're not like threatening people, you're not being an asshole or anything, you're not breaking any other laws other than maybe like a speeding violation, right? Most law enforcement that I have come in contact with are like, okay, cool, your guns stay where they're at, my gun's going to stay where it's at. Do you have a valid concealed carry permit? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, have a nice day. They don't ask to look for NFA paperwork, things like that. The ones that I've interacted with in North Carolina, South Carolina, and recently in New Hampshire, because that's where we were for the Surefire event that we were with. And but a lot of these guys are gun guys. A lot of them, actually, I think more so of them aren't, and probably don't know the right questions to ask anyway. Literally, typically the feds won't get involved unless you're literally committing a crime, like outside of a moving violation, right? Like, oh, your tent's too dark. Okay, that just gives them a reason to stop you. That doesn't give them probable cause to search your vehicle and things like that. But you do have a duty to voice or let the officer know that you do have a firearm. And that's all you have to say. You don't have to, as far as I know, granted, I'm not a lawyer and I haven't read all the laws or anything like that, but as far as I know, you don't have to disclose that you have NFA items. I never did when I've been pulled over, and I've been let off with warnings both times. Oh, okay. All right. There was a third time. There was not a warning. But still, so it's like, and here's the other thing. A lot of your local law enforcement guys, if they pull you over for such a manner, before, you could probably just throw a pistol brace on the thing and just say, oh yeah, it's an AR pistol, whatever. Oh, okay. All right. Have a nice life. It's not like they can run the serial number in NICS to see if it's a NFA item. When I worked for the police department, the only time that we would run a serial number is to see if it was reported stolen. Yes or no. And I never came up with one that was stolen. We recovered a firearm that was stolen, and we contacted the owner who reported it stolen 40 years ago. I think that was the right timeline. It was insane. But anyway, so a lot of your local cops, they're not going to, state troopers, I don't know about, I've got a couple of buddies that are, highway patrolmen, state troopers, and a lot of them, they just say, hey, as long as you're cool to me, and you got a gun and you don't have any warrants out and you can legally have that gun, like obviously, right? Then yeah, we're just going to say, all right, cool. Just, you keep yours where it is. I'll keep mine where it is and go about your life. Now, I'm not saying don't submit your 5320.20 and all that type of stuff. I'm just saying, what are your guys' experiences when it comes to traveling with NFA items and things like that, right? Anyway, backing up a little bit here. And let me see. I want to go back to a couple more of these comments here. And you will have a mess to clean up after this. Yeah, that was... Like I said, I've got it soaking in gun butter right now. Who makes some awesome stuff. And I've got some cleanse oil laying around too because I got it in a little cleaning kit, which is a nice thing to have. But anyway, again, with the anyways, I hear it all the time now. Let's see here. It's a good day if you don't have to use your AK. That is very true because it is also right beside me. And for a second there, I didn't know what was going on. Doggo Waffen, doggos know best. Yeah, heads at the door. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little concerned for a second, I farted. Thanks, Scott. Thought the stream just froze. Nope, just me listening out for anything that I don't want at my front door or back door or side door or anywhere else. I don't know. Clint, I think you missed my super chat. Oh shit. Mark. Oh, I did. I'm so freaking sorry. Thank you for the super chat there. And also, Franklin Armory is supposed to release their Glock 17 slide with the built-in binary function, fourth quarter of 23. Oh, they are? I may or may not have an unopened package from Franklin Armory sitting in my kitchen right now. I'm just saying I may or may not. I don't know what the contents are. I can assume what they are. The only problem is I don't have a Gen 3 Glock with me, so I'm going to have to run to my local gun shop and be like, hey, guys, you got a Gen 3 Glock laying around that I can keep? Because I'm just going to buy it. Because I've got something I got to try out. Assuming that's what's in this box that I have yet to open. So, yes, I would assume. All right. I don't think I signed an NDA on that one, so I'm okay. Continuing on over here. Let's see here. The flex trigger is good. We also just got in some flex triggers. We are going to be looking at both and figuring that out. Now, here's what I can say right off the bat about the Franklin Armory trigger. It's only going to be for Gen 3 compatible Glocks, and it is going to actually, it's more expensive, and it is going to be replacing the slide. However, I do believe the reliability and the safety, yes, the physical safety of the Franklin will be better, simply because you can actually turn off the binary function. What I mean by that is if you pull the trigger, but you don't want that second round to go, you can flip it to safe or whatever and release the trigger and it won't go off. With the flex triggers, I don't think that's the case. Granted, I have zero experience with the flex triggers other than what I'm going to be trying myself here soon. And from what I can tell, once you pull that trigger, that second round's going down range. Unless, and here's another thing that just immediately came to my mind, drop the mag, rack the slide, all while depressing the trigger. I assume that's how you clear it. Again, I haven't tried it myself. So stay tuned because I think it'll be pretty freaking fun. So there you go. ATF is here to give back your FRTs. I never said I had an FRT. But continuing on. Hey, Clint, Crunchy Taco, Cap 7 Foreign had a question about the JPSC. I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing it. I probably skipped over it somewhere, but ask it again. I'll try to get to it over here. Let's see. But we did get flared space. Do they make any good aftermarket triggers for 9mm ARs? I mean, Franklin also makes one. But asking anyone. There you go. DLD, all you have to do is safely point it at a raccoon and release the trigger. There you go. Captain 74 in. What's your opinion on the JP Enterprises silent capture spring? That stuff's pretty cool. We had that in my ultimate AR build a while back that we featured at CF Contest that we did the entire AR build series on. If you actually want to see that video where I talk about building out that AR and all that, go check that out. But the silent capture spring is super cool. Now, if I were to rack my charging handle on my Mark 18 with as many rounds as I have through it, and I would actually oil the buffer tube and oil the spring, it is super quiet. It is very quiet. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this without racking rounds. So, but it is very quiet, and, that's all there is to it. So there you go. Let's see here. Peppety's Nuts, good to see you again. Yeah, Clint, what about that OGL? You're talking about the EOTech OGL, right? I am ready for that release. I am very, very excited about that. And also, Dan the Man Legend, you are absolutely right. Purple is the best flavor of crayon. X Pro Tuned X, you the best, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And does Classic Firearms have the OGL? No. Does my friends just down in Myrtle Beach have the OGL and allowing us to test it? Yes. It's who you know, not what you know. All right. Douglas Kimmins, what pistol do you recommend with a 5-inch barrel? A 1911. All right, continuing on. We have permitless carry in Florida, but binary triggers are illegal. I know, that's ridiculous to me, right? Like, that really blows me away and just dumb. But, oh well. Over here, let's see. Mason at Brad. Yeah, I know that. What are you guys talking about? I'm not paying attention. I thought you meant they need stamps because I didn't get the stamps on mine. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to leave it at that. Be ungovernable. Love it. Let's see here. I have the SCS. They are great. Crazy K says, absolutely, I agree with that as well. For those of you that don't know, the Silent Capture Spring by JP Enterprises ultimately makes, they're adjustable, which is really cool, but also they really make the operation of the gun quiet. Now, that's not to say the actual round going off. No, that's still going to be loud. But the operation as far as the bolt carrier going back into the buffer tube, and then coming forward, super quiet. It is really, really cool. Keith, good to see you again. Thank you. I too love the hat. Got to support Gun Owners of America, as we all should. Bet Israel wishes they had a GOA. Continuing on. Searching. Clint, have you heard whether or not Glock is going to release their GR115F AR submission for the British trials to civilians? I have not heard. Glock has been really tight-lipped about this, but also when you look at it, compare that to the Knights Armament KS1. I think I might have a I might lean towards the KS1. And so I was reading Alaska Ted on Rumble. I thought I was about to get spicy again. I'm like, dude, what? Because it just says Clint, an idiot. I'm like, hold up, bro. What are we going on? What are we about to get into? I see he's pointing at the top comment there, or the next comment. Needs to be blocked. Appreciate these live streams as I write up reports. Thank you, Alaska Ted, AK Ted. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. I'm starting to see now that, the Nick for Trump USA on Rumble, you're just spamming. You're just posting the same thing over and over again, and that's not cool. So with the link, it's probably, again, the link that I mentioned earlier that I probably wouldn't follow because strangers on the internet, you know what I mean? So don't know about that. So yeah, just guys report them and leave it at that. Let's see here. Unless you're real, then, comment down below. Let's see here. We did get another super chat from Blue Liberty Classic Firearms. Sent you Insta, did you? What'd you say? Let's take a look really quick here. Also, I got another text message I should probably open up and take a look at. Oh, okay. That's nothing. Is it... See, the problem is if I don't do it right now, I'll probably forget, all right? So I'm looking for Blue Liberty, and the Classic Firearms Instagram, I will tell you right now, is, dude, it's a lot. There's a lot of messages in there, all right? So, Blue Liberty, what's your Instagram? DM it to me, _Morgan. It's still pretty busy in there, but it's not as busy. So, because unless it's like a tag or something like that I'm just not seeing, or something like that. But anyway, yeah, feel free to DM it to me. I'll try to get to it and take a look. But continuing on over here, thank you again, Blue Liberty, for the super chat. Yes, the JP Enterprises Silent Capture Spring, no more buffer twang that you sometimes get when shooting. Absolutely. Clint, thoughts on a flat buffer spring? I am unaware of this magic that you speak of. So enlighten me. I have not heard of a flat buffer spring. So thoughts on it would be how? I guess it's just not round. It's flat, like an accordion. I don't know. Lafroig finished off the bottle tonight, so I'll be finishing this off with you guys. Also, I think my Flonase wore off. Allergies. It's getting cooler out. I used to not have allergies at all, and then all of a sudden 1 year, there they are. Freaking ridiculous. But Red Liberty 76, I see you, Blue Liberty. Red Liberty 76. I just want to take a look really quick. And now's the time. If anybody else has been trying to contact Classic Firearms on Instagram, now's probably the time to take a look, because here I am taking a look at some of them. Let me go to all requests. I'm looking, dude. It might just be easier to try to find you. I don't know. Or did you send it to mine? I don't know. Let me just go to mine really quick and take a look. And thank you guys all again for staying tuned in and everything. And of course, as soon as I open up my Instagram, I'm just seeing some ridiculous shit taking place over in Israel right now that is sad, to say the least. Let's see here. A request. Oh shit, I got a message from Primary Arms, actually. I should That's funny. I'm glad I'm checking now. Whoops. That was early in the week though, so that's okay. All right, I'm not seeing anything. Sorry. I'll have to check a little bit later. I don't want to bore everybody on the live stream with checking Instagram messages though. But thank you. So I'll take a look for Red Liberty 76 if I could, get the tongue ties out. That'd be great. Eric Nelson, looking to purchase a 300 Blackout. What do you suggest? Shorter barrel. I will be suppressing it, as you should. So I'll tell you, honestly, dude, I've got an Aero Precision 8.5-inch upper receiver that I throw on my Mark 18. That's 300 Blackout. And I love that. I love it. It's M-Lock. It's the M41 model, I do believe. And, I've got it sitting on I got a table right over there. I got it sitting on, I guess I could probably show an upper receiver because it's not a complete gun. So YouTube, I don't think could get mad about that. But I've got it built out for home defense because I love having that as my home defense option with the Flow 762 Huxworks silencer. Instead of buying a whole new gun, save yourself some money and just get yourself an upper receiver you can throw on your already AR lower if you have an SBR, right? If it's an AR pistol, then you could do that. But if you're looking to buy a dedicated short-barreled 300 Blackout, there are definitely some good options out there. Maximum Defense, obviously, Q with the Honey Badger, and also Daniel Defense with their PDW M4. Really great options. Out of those, there's also SIG. They've got the 300 Blackout Spear LT now, which is actually pretty freaking cool. Again, that's short stroke, piston driven with a tunable gas system or adjustable gas system. That sounds pretty freaking awesome to me. So those are different options I would go for. Obviously, all of those are a little pricey. That's the only point why I would probably recommend maybe building your own, or just take a look at some of the Aero Precision upper receivers that are already built out with the 300 Blackout barrel. That would be something I would take into consideration. Well, I did take into consideration. I did that. So there you go. J95, 954, good to see you again. Clint, what was the deal with that Bergara 308? Glass couldn't hold zero. Was it shooter error? I think it was definitely shooter error on that part. But after talking with a couple of people about that Bergara, something that I did to that gun shouldn't have been done. And that was ultimately those rapid strings of fire on that carbon wrapped barrel. We started to see a lot of point of impact shift with that gun. And like I said, I was able to ring out 10 shots flawlessly before we started doing that team one on episode 5, I think it was. And 4. It was that episode 4, the team one. And I did a string of 10 shots, all of them at 500 yards. All of them made impact on target. I was super happy with the results. And then we let the barrel cool. Thing I'm be picking up, and we moved about maybe 50 yards forward. And after that, Ryan and I both could not make impact with the target. And then we started to make adjustments, and then we were adjusting on a hot barrel, and we were just, we played ourselves. Now, all throughout the series, the Bergara rifle itself functioned flawlessly, felt great. The only issues I had with it was the magazine not wanting to stay in place, an actual Bergara magazine. Every time I pulled the trigger after, I can't remember how many dozens of rounds, it didn't take a lot. The magazine just no longer held in place. The catch wore down on the actual lip for the magazine itself. Metal on polymer, bound to happen. And it wore out sooner than I expected. So I had to switch to either Magpul mags or AICS, metal mags. And that it is what it is. So the magazine, fully loaded, not even fully loaded. Every time I pulled the trigger, would fall out of the gun. That sucked. And then on top of that, there was the accuracy issue where once that barrel got hot, it went out the window. I was the only one with a carbon barrel, and we were running that barrel. This is the type of gun that was made for precision, 1 to 4 shots precisely, and slowly. I was doing some rapid fire stuff, even off camera, trying to get this thing where I wanted it. And when I did, after making adjustments, I let the barrel cool, and then all of a sudden my shots would be off again. So I should have zeroed it on a cool barrel, and due to my due to messing that up at the very beginning, that set the pace for the entire course, and I really just screwed myself. So that's what happened, and it's like, dude, I've shot targets out to a freaking mile with impact multiple times. I've done much better shooting than that, and this series I just screwed myself hard, and I wasn't happy with my performance at all. And I think you see that in quite a bit of the videos and the clips, but it is what it is. So that's pretty much what I think is ultimately the issues there. Continuing on over here, though, I did see that we got another super chat over here. Mason, thank you again, Mason. Good to see you. What are your thoughts, if any, on the Arkin Optics 5-24 scope? I thought about 5-24 on your AR-10 build, your Aero M5. That's a lot of optic. It's a lot of magnification, but at the same time, I don't fault you for it. Arkin is another one that I've been asked about quite a bit that I haven't gotten into just yet. So I think that's another manufacturer I need to pay attention to. So Arkin Optics, I have zero experience with, so I don't want to give you any feedback because I don't know. But as far as I can tell you about the magnification, 5-24 is a lot. On my 18-inch M5 build, AR-10, 308, I've got a 2.5 to 12.5 Trijicon AccuPoint that I love, and 12.5 power is spot on for what I want, for what I use it for. So granted, what you're using it for might be different. But thank you for the super chat. Sorry I can't answer your question completely, but there you have it. Over here, Alaska Ted, thank you again for the super chat. Let's see here. I have been looking for a threaded barrel for my PS90 and 5.7. Have you seen any for sale? My searches haven't shown any. That's really interesting. I haven't actually thought about that. So I haven't looked. So I haven't seen any. But now that I know, AK Ted, Alaska Ted, I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. A threaded barrel for your PS90. That would be, and your 5.7. That would be good. Let's see here. Just got another super chat. Geo Clint Gundy's 2024. Thank you guys. I did win last year, most influential male, which I think is hilarious. But that's due to all of you guys. So, yep, nominations are open again, and they're going to be hosted right before SHOT Show in Las Vegas this year, which is pretty exciting. So, pretty fun stuff. But let's see here. I wanted to get also to Rumble. I tried every other name on Rumble. You guys should do a meet and greet sometime for all of us local to Classic. That I think would actually be pretty fun, especially if we were to host it out at Take Aim Training and then, have kind of like a live fire day. I think that would be pretty fun. Believe me, it's been talked about, all right? But anyway, let's see here. Andy Dom, good to see you, man. Another night with Captain Morgan at your service over here, all right? There you go. CMMG for PS90 barrel. Oh, they did come out with... Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot all about that. CMMG makes ones for the PS90. There you go. Alaska Ted, there's your... Bam. The community comes together. Gotta love it, all right? So, there you go. Let's see here. Your thoughts on the FN 509 Tactical that just came out with a flat trigger. Is it better? I haven't played with it. I can assume it's going to be better because FN told me when I met with them at SHOT Show this past year that they listened to my feedback. They listened to the community's feedback about how shitty the 509 trigger is, and they made the 545 and the 510 better, which, yes, they have. They're fantastic. So if they took the same type of technology or the same type of quality in those triggers and offered that, and now the 509 Tactical that come out with a flat trigger, cool. But I assume they didn't. They probably kept the same trigger, just changed the actual shoe, so that way now it's just flat. I do like flat triggers, but if they didn't change the mechanics and take away the grittiness, then it doesn't really matter if it's flat or not. It's still shit. So there you go. Hunter Rogers, stay safe out there, brother. Best believe if it goes down, my Colt A4 build with the Trigicon 1-8 Credo will be keeping me warm. God bless America. That's a solid option. And yeah, God bless the United States. And I think that's actually a pretty good way to end this out. My congestion's coming back, and I'm starting to feel like shit. So hopefully I'm not getting sick. And but yeah, I think that's pretty good there. Sorry if I didn't get to a lot of you guys chat a little bit earlier. I've been kind of bouncing around all over. So make sure if you've got something you want me to see or whatever, I'm going to do better about getting into the comments on previous videos or previous live streams. So comment once this video is up and posted. Go comment your question or anything else like that down there. But there you have it. Bloodied Berserker late to the show, processing firewood. But yes, take care of all y'all and y'alls. The China comment was really in regards to this looking like the framework for World War III. Stay safe, everyone. And yeah, that's probably the biggest scare right now is another world war. If it came to that, ladies and gentlemen, I think... don't think we would have the means necessary to really defend ourselves because, let's be honest, nuclear weapons would most likely be used. I mean, they ended World War II, but is that how World War III is going to start? So, I guess we'll find out. But Keith, cheers to all of you guys again. Thank you all. I appreciate it. One more question on Rumble. Striker 314 is wanting to know if they still make ACRs. They do not still make ACRs. You might find clones out there, but Franklin Armory purchased what, Bushmaster, I believe. So, there's that to take a look at, okay? So hopefully we see the resurgence of the ACR from Franklin Armory, maybe. But going to leave it off there, guys. God bless you all. Thank you all again. If you're in Israel right now, stay safe, hunker down, and go purchase an additional 50 rounds on top of the 50 that you were allowed to have before. It's rough out there. Again, I'm going to kind of... I'll end this video with ultimately repeal the NFA, abolish the ATF, and make sure you guys are getting out there supporting the Second Amendment in any way you possibly can, like supporting organizations like Gun Owners of America, Firearms Policy Coalition, and so many others that are actually out there doing the good work to try to preserve our Second Amendment rights, because without them, we could wind up one day looking like Israel. So or so many other countries that have got it worse off. We talked about somebody in Australia as well earlier. So why are gun rights, Second Amendment rights so important? Because without them, you are simply a subject and you will become a victim. Not if, but when. When. And that's all there is to it. God bless you guys. Keep America first. We'll see you next time. Oh, and cheers.